Welcome to the Online Success Journey podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey podcast, Patience.
Hello everyone and welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 85. Are you ready to join the clan? Today we have Jill Brennan, marketing consultant, author and the founder of Harbren Marketing. Her mission is to help small business owners make more informed decisions about their marketing so they can make better use of their available resources and get better results. Hello Jill.
Hi, Patience. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. I know the clan is anxious to hear your story, so let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my clan a little bit about your background, about what you did before you started your online business?
Sure. I first started working with small businesses over 20 years ago now. I was helping local Australian companies to set up trading and partnership arrangements with companies in Japan. I did that for a number of years and took the decision to leap into the unknown and set up my own business. So I created an innovative online membership service that was, quite advanced at the time. This is 2003. And although, the learning curve was very steep, of course, and not just running a business, but, learning all about online business, online marketing. And, while the business did gain some traction among the target market, not enough people were prepared to pay, so it really wasn't viable. So that was a fairly painful and expensive experience, and obviously I learnt lots of lessons from that, and one of the key lessons was really the importance of finding out what people want and giving it to them. Ideas are great, of course, but without testing there's really no telling whether people will actually buy your product, even though they say they might. Getting out your credit card to actually purchase is a very different decision than just saying yes to someone, maybe just to keep them quiet. And the market's the great arbiter, and there's really no point railing against it. And whether you think it's fair or not, it's the decision maker. So I guess, if I'd spent a little bit more time up front validating my assumptions about what people wanted, I probably could have led to a very different result and be a lot less frustration. But anyway, that experience led me to a broader interest in what it takes to motivate customers to take action. So instead of creating my own products, I began promoting other people's products and services as an affiliate. So I would buy advertising to promote particular offers, and then I'd get commissions either on a conversion of a sale or a lead. And I did that for a number of years and, generated thousands of leads and sales. It was really very good training. It can be quite overwhelming, though, because you're often operating on a very thin margin, and different things that you want to promote can come and go. So because you don't own anything, you're just relying on other people wanting to get new business. And then basically for the last 10 years or so, I've been doing marketing consulting, helping quite a few small businesses to work out the best path for them to get to market and increase their sales.
Wow. It's been a journey. Okay.
It has.
All right. Why helping small business? Because you came from big companies. Why you helping small businesses?
Well, I think there's a lot of fantastic small businesses around that just need a little bit of guidance to do better. And to me, they're the ones that really need the help. They're often, quite overwhelmed just running the business, and a lot of small business owners are very confused about marketing, particularly now because there's so many different platforms you can use, so many different methods, and it's not surprising that many of them are very confused.
Wow. What is the most dangerous belief an online entrepreneur can have?
I think probably when you're starting out, you don't know what you don't know, so it can look like it's very easy. You just set up a website and everyone will come and buy your product. But of course, it's not that straightforward. So, and a lot of people will spend a lot of time focusing on the website, for example, but not think too much about how they're actually going to get people to go to the site and take the action that they want them to take. So I think maybe just a lack of awareness around what's involved. The other thing I see is a lot of people will focus very heavily on social media, and social media can be fantastic, but it may not necessarily be the answer to all your converting traffic. There's lots of other ways to generate business. So I think, maybe just people focusing too much on their website, not enough on traffic generation. And then when they do look at traffic generation, they focus mainly on social media, which can be good, just depends on your business.
Let's put man aside. How did you know you are successful?
How do I know I'm successful, or a client?
How did you know you are successful? When you started your business, how did you know that this is now my full-time job?
Well, I enjoy it, so I guess that there's success in that. So a lot of people, are in jobs that they don't like. The other is just being able to help people and to make a difference is another way. And then, obviously you're looking at turnover and profit margin is the numbers side of things. But really it's being able to make a difference for clients. So coming in and helping them, fix problems that they've got, and then them being able to get more sales.
Okay. You have 2 boys. How do you balance business and family?
Well, my boys are older now, so they're teenagers. So it's a lot easier, certainly, than it used to be. And, so they're, fairly understanding of where I'm at. We do have a rule now where they each have to make dinner once a week. Okay. We tend to have the same meal every week when it's their turn, whoever's cooking. But but that's okay. It's just important that they get involved.
Wow. Okay. Can anyone be an entrepreneur, or some people are more cut out for it than others?
I think some people probably are more cut out for it than others, but I think anyone could be it, as long as you're prepared to perhaps adjust your mindset. The biggest thing I think to be an entrepreneur is just to be uncomfortable with the unknown. There's so many things that you don't know about and you have to educate yourself about. And there's also that unknown of, there's no structure around you to support you. So if you really like having a regular paycheck and, other people sort of directing what you do in a more structured way, then being an entrepreneur is probably not for you. But I think, there's certainly people that you perhaps wouldn't think would be suited to being an entrepreneur that really take to it. It's just if they're at the right stage in their life, that they're sort of open to changing is probably the main thing. But the other thing I would say about being an entrepreneur is that you have to be also have a testing mindset, that you're okay to test things and sort of test your way to success. Most people don't get it right straight out of the gate. It really involves a lot of testing to see what works and what doesn't, what people respond to, what they don't like.
Do you have a mentor in your business, or while you are training to start your own business? Did you have any mentor?
I probably was mostly reading books. I certainly signed up for quite a few online courses. There's a guy in Canada actually called Gohar Chaudhry, and I did a lot of his courses. He does a lot on online advertising. So he was probably an early mentor. And now I have a business coach who keeps me on track. Each month, I get to submit my financials to him, which is always interesting, and also just I have quarterly catch-ups with him to make sure that I'm meeting my goals, or with someone to troubleshoot problems with. And I think that's really important when you're running your own business, because it can be quite isolating, and you can sort of lose momentum. So it's quite good to have someone outside that is holding you to account.
What is the most valuable thing your mentor has told you?
Oh, wow. Probably, I think he has a lot of faith in what I'm doing, and he's probably the biggest thing is just that reinforcement. I find really valuable, but he's also very much about really coming from a place of knowing why you're doing what you're doing. So that's probably, I focused more on that this year. But yeah, that's probably it. Just and the reason why that's important is when everything's going well, you probably don't need to be as aware of that. But when things are perhaps not going well, that's the time when it's really easy to lose momentum. But if you can keep coming back to a very strong belief in what you're doing and why you're doing it, and often that's beyond money. It's more of a connecting to your core beliefs, then that really powers you through the challenging times.
What reassurance or encouragement have you got for my members of Clan who are not quite there yet?
I think that to approach everything as a learning opportunity, and to become better educated around marketing, because marketing is very important to the success of your business. I think Peter Drucker says that marketing and innovation are the two key things you need for business, and often a lot of marketing will result in innovation, so they're very much tied together. But yeah, definitely understanding what's involved in marketing. So even if you're outsourcing your marketing, you can be comfortable that you're making good decisions, and that's one of the reasons why I wrote my book on marketing, was really that to provide a sort of practical, no-nonsense guide for small business owners on what they should be looking for in their marketing. And then the second part of the book is all about how they can get help, what to look for, what sort of help's available, what sort of questions they should be asking, what they should be looking for, things like that.
Okay, actually, we are going back to talk about your book. Okay, now you started talking about it. How is this for only people who are already advanced in business, or can a newbie use this book? Tell us about your book, and why did you write this book?
Yeah, it's called Get Smarter Marketing, and it's a small business owner's guide to building a savvy business. It probably is aimed a little bit more at people who have a business rather than starting up a business. But just because I think when you're starting a business, there's so many things that you need to be thinking about that you might get a little bit overwhelmed. But it does go through how to create a marketing plan. So it could work depending on how proficient you're feeling with business. But it talks about things like connecting with your why you're doing what you're doing, your vision, your values, how you can develop your business identity, how to get to know your customers better, what sort of marketing platforms you could pick, how you can turn your expertise into collateral that you can share with customers. And then it covers things like how to measure your marketing, optimize it to make it better. And then, as I said, the part 2 is really all about how you can get help if you need it, what sort of help is generally available, what sort of questions you should be asking people if they're helping you.
I see. Okay. So what skills do you need to be good at marketing? Do you need to go to Harvard University for marketing?
A degree is often, something that people look for in a marketer. But really, to me, I think you need to have good writing skills. You need to be able to, clearly communicate what you want to say. I think that's really important. You don't necessarily need to be a copywriter, but you do need to be able to communicate well in writing. It's a good skill to have. The next one would be an eye for design. Again, you don't need to be a graphic designer, but you do need to be able to see, look at an image and see what's right and what's not, and therefore, be able to guide someone to fix it or be able to fix it yourself. And there's so many cool, easy tools now online to help create images that often, a marketer can create their own. So those two skills are fairly basic. The next one I would say would be a testing mindset. So being able to think about everything in terms of testing your way to success. So if you're running an online advertising campaign, for example, you'd want to be looking at 2 different ads. So split testing different ads to see which one works best. So just having that testing mindset is really important, just because that's the way you learn and that's the way that you can improve. So that's really important. So you could say it's a testing mindset or an experimental mindset. The other reason that's really important is because marketing keeps changing. New platforms become available, new methods. What worked last year may not work as well this year. So you very much need to be, actively looking to improve and get better. So I would say that's probably those 3.
Right. You've been in business for 20 years plus. You have helped big companies. Now you are into small businesses. Why this book now?
Yes, I like I said, I wanted to write something to help business owners because I could see that a lot of them were very confused, and it was sort of amazing when I sat down to write the book. I actually didn't realise how much I had to say until I started, and then I just kept going. So yeah, there are a lot of books on marketing already out in the marketplace, but I just felt that some of them were more specific around particular areas, and I felt that people needed a really good overview.
So what is unique about your book so we can all go out there and get it?
Probably the feedback I get about my book is that it's a very straight up guide. At the end of every chapter there's action points, so you can put what you've learned in the chapter into action. It's very practical in that way, and it's really a clear and concise sort of guide to marketing, and specifically for small business owners.
Wow. Okay, so where do we get this book?
So the book is available on Amazon. It's actually it's available as an ebook on Amazon, and it's being published in the US in October. So it's available for pre-order on Amazon as well.
Wow. Okay. Do you have like one thing which has contributed to your success, or do you have many things which have contributed to your success?
It's probably many things, but I am always interested in learning about new things. So I think that has been a really good attribute. Sometimes I get bored easily, so that's probably a bad attribute. I am always looking for better ways to do things, so I think that's definitely helped. And probably, I'm usually a good listener with clients, and also a listener in terms of customers, trying to work out what they're really trying to do. So I think that's helped a lot as well. Because to me, marketing is often about looking for clues. Because customers, don't always say exactly what they want, and they don't always tell you when there's a problem. So you need to be very adept at looking for the clues that can really tell you what's actually going on, what the underlying responses are or underlying needs are.
Okay. What is one thing no one knows about you? Business or it can be business or private, personal?
Oh, well, when I was, a few people know this one, but not that many. When I was 21, I moved to a mining town and drove the big trucks, the haul packs, as a truck driver to save up money so that I could travel to China, because I had studied Chinese at university. And I went and worked on an iron ore mine for 6 months before going to Beijing. So it was quite a contrast. I was in a mining town where there was 1,000 people, and then I moved to Beijing, which had a population of 10 million at the time, which was quite overwhelming.
Wow, that's a challenge. Okay, so now you have written a book about marketing. So can you give us a little bit of tips of how we can increase our sales with marketing?
Sure. I think to me, marketing is all about, there's really 5 building blocks of marketing. So there's your strategy, which is where you want to go, your branding, which is, what you want to be known for, your collateral, which explains your expertise, awareness, so, letting more people know about you, and then reporting, so measuring what's happened. And most people tend to focus on the awareness side of things, which can be great. Obviously you want to build more awareness of what you do, but if you don't have the strategy, the branding and the collateral sorted, then you have to ask what are you actually raising awareness of. And often people will go out and maybe they'll spend money on Facebook advertising or on pay-per-click advertising on Google, and they'll spend all these cash, and then they'll send it to their homepage and then wonder why it didn't work. So not being really clear about what you're trying to achieve can be a real problem. But if you're wanting to, so that's sort of a bigger picture, but if you're wanting to improve, let's say you wanted to improve your sales in the next 90 days, I would look at how you got if you're a business-to-business company, I would look at how you got your last 6 best customers and drill into that, and then see what you can do to improve in each of those areas. And if you're a business-to-consumer customer, B2C, I would look at how you got your last 50 customers, and then break it down and then see in each of those areas what you can do to improve. So if you were B2B and you got business from referrals, then one of the things that I would look at is often people, they'll thank someone when they first get the referral, but they don't always thank them after they've done whatever it was that they got the referral for. So let's say that you're an accountant and someone has referred you a new client and you've done their tax. I would then, if I was that accountant, I would go back to the person that did the referral and let them know exactly what happened. What did they do for that client? So it sort of closes the loop. And it builds rapport, because often, people want to know that they've done something which has really added value. So that can make them feel very good. But also you're keeping the conversation going with your referrer, so they're more likely to refer new business to them in that way. So another way that can be really good for small businesses is to look at partnerships. So it doesn't necessarily need to be some sort of complicated joint venture type arrangement. It could be quite simple. So, let's say you're a graphic designer, you could team up with a copywriter and you could run some sort of joint event or a webinar, and you could offer perhaps a more seamless approach for a client that needs a new website. Or needs a new brochure. So they've got the copy part sorted, and then they've got the design sorted. So often you want to look at, if it's partnerships, what service or product people are using before or with whatever it is you provide, and that way you can find potential partner opportunities.
Okay. You said you have been traveling all around the world and enjoying your life. How has travel shaped your attitude to business?
I think it's one of the great things I think about travel is that it helps you to build empathy. And empathy is a really important aspect for marketing, but also for business. I mean, you really do need to be able to put yourself in the shoes of the people that you're trying to communicate with, that you're trying to get to buy whatever it is you're selling. So I think empathy is a huge benefit of travelling. I think the other one is dealing with the unexpected, which happens a lot in business, and it also happens a lot with travel. You can make the most amazing plans, and then, something goes wrong and all your plans just go out the window, and you've just got to think on your feet and make the best of the situation. So probably those two things, patience and, dealing with the unexpected and empathy.
Okay. So, Clan, there will be more from Jill in a moment. If you are finding Jill's journey interesting and you are ready to hear more, come and listen to the full version of the interview at onlinesuccessjourney.com. If you are on Online Success Journey already, click on part 2 of Jill's journey and you'll get lots of more information to help you with your business. And don't forget, you can access all other Online Journey Success interview podcasts on the site as well. That's a wrap, Clan. Remember, success is a journey. Patience and Jill.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to part 1 and want to be sure you know there is a second part to this and every journey podcast at onlinesuccessjourney.com, filled with even more success tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. There are dozens of episodes only available to the members of the Online Success Journey clan. Check out the website and click on Join the Clan for more information. Patience would like to thank you for listening to this podcast, and she has a free audio gift for you at her website. Go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for instant access to this gift. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and to listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review it at Stitcher and other sites by clicking the stars or completing the ratings form, by clicking thumbs up and leaving a comment on YouTube, or liking and sharing the podcast on social media. To review the podcast within iTunes, simply open iTunes to the podcast, click on Ratings and Reviews, then write a review. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.